The Book of Habakkuk. Chapter 1. The burden that Habakkuk, the prophet, saw. How long, Lord, shall I cry, and thou shalt not hear? I suffering violence shall cry on high to thee, and thou shalt not save. Why showedest thou to me wickedness and travail, for to see prey and unright wiseness against me? Why beholdest thou despises, and art still, the while the unpious man defouleth a right fuller than himself? And thou shalt make men as fishes of the sea, and as creeping things not having a leader. And doom is made, and against saying is more mighty. For this thing law is broken, and doom cometh not till to the end. For the unpious man hath might against the just, therefore wayward doom shall go out. Behold ye in heathen men, and see ye, and wonder ye, and greatly dread ye. For a work is done in your days, which no man shall believe, when it shall be told. For lo, I shall raise Chaldees, a bitter folk and swift, going on the breadth of earth, that he wield tabernacles not his. It is horrible, and dreadful. The doom and the burden thereof shall go out of itself. His horses be lighter than leopards, and swifter than eventide wolves, and his horsemen shall be scattered abroad. For why his horsemen shall come from far, they shall fly as an eagle hasting to eat. All men shall come to prey, the faces of them is as a burning wind. And he shall gather as gravel captivity, and he shall have victory of kings, and tyrants shall be of his scorning. He shall laugh on all stronghold, and shall bear together heap of earth, and shall take it. Then the spirit shall be changed, and he shall pass forth, and fall down. This is the strength of him, of his God. Whether thou art not from the beginning, thou, Lord my God, mine holy, and we shall not die. Lord, into doom thou hast set him, and thou groundedest him strong, that thou shouldest chastise. Thine eyes be clean, see thou not evil, and thou shalt not be able to behold to wickedness. Why beholdest thou not on men doing wickedly, and thou art still, while the unpious man devoureth a more just man than himself? And thou shalt make men as fishes of the sea, and as a creeping thing not having a prince. He shall lift up all in the hook. He drew it in his great net, and gathered into his net. On this thing he shall be glad, and make joy without faith. Therefore he shall offer to his great net, and shall make sacrifice to his net. For in him his part is made fat, and his meat is chosen. Therefore for this thing he spreadeth abroad his great net, and evermore he ceaseth not for to slay folks. Chapter 2. On my keeping I shall stand, and shall pitch a degree on warding. And I shall behold, that I see what things shall be said to me, and what I shall answer to him that reproveth me. And the Lord answered to me, and said, Write thou the sight, either revelation, and make it plain on tables, that he run, that shall read it. For yet the vision is far, and it shall appear into the end, and shall not lie. If it shall make dwelling, abide thou it, for it coming shall come, and shall not tarry. Lo, the soul of him, that is unbelieveful, shall not be rightful in himself. Forsooth the just man shall live in his faith. And as wine deceiveth a man drinking, so shall the proud man be, and he shall not be made fair. For as hell he enlarged his soul, and he is as death, and he is not filled. And he shall gather to him all folks, and he shall gather together to him all peoples. Whether not all these peoples shall take a parable on him, and the speaking of dark sentences of him. And it shall be said, Woe to him that multiplieth things not his own. How long, and he aggregateth against himself thick clay. Whether not suddenly they shall rise together, that shall bite thee. And they shall be raised tearing thee, and thou shalt be into raven to them, and thine ambushes in evil shall wake. For thou robbedest many folks, all shall rob thee, which shall be residue, either left, of peoples, for blood of man, and for wickedness of land, of the city, and of all men dwelling in it. Woe to him that gathereth evil covetousness to his house, that his nest be on high, and guesseth him for to be delivered of the hand of evil. Thou thoughtest confusion to thine house. Thou hast slain many peoples, and thy soul sinned. For the stone of the wall shall cry, and a tree that is betwixt jointures of buildings shall answer. Woe to him that buildeth a city in bloods, and maketh ready a city in wickedness. whether not these things be of the Lord of hosts. For peoples shall travail in much fire, and folks in vain, and they shall fail. For the earth shall be filled, that it know the glory of the Lord, as waters covering the sea. Woe to him that giveth drink to his friend, and sendeth his gall, and maketh drunken, that he behold his nakedness. He is filled with evil fame for glory. And thou drink, and be aslept. The cup of the right half of the Lord shall compass thee, and casting up, either spewing, of evil fame on thy glory. For the wickedness of Lebanon shall cover thee, and destruction of beasts shall make them afeared, of bloods of man, and of wickedness of land, and of the city, and of all men dwelling therein. What profiteth the graven image? For his maker graved it, a weld thing together, and false image. For the maker thereof hoped in making, that he made dumb simulacra. Woe to him that saith to a tree, Wake thou. Rise thou, to a stone being still, whether he shall be able to teach. Lo, this is covered with gold and silver, and no spirit is in his entrails. Forsooth the Lord is in his holy temple, all earth be still from his face. Chapter 3. The prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, for unknowing men. Lord, I heard thy praising, and I dreaded. Lord, it is thy work, in the middle of years, quicken thou it. In the middle of years, thou shalt make known. When thou shalt be wroth, thou shalt have mind of mercy. God shall come from the south, and the Holy from the mount of Paran. The glory of him covered heavens, and the earth is full of his praising. The shining of him shall be as light, horns in the hands of him. There the strength of him was hid, death shall go before his face, the devil shall go out before his feet. He stood, and meted the earth. He beheld, and unbound folks, and hills of the world were all broken. The little hills of the world were bowed down, of the ways of his everlastingness. For wickedness I saw the tents of Ethiopia, the skins of the land of Midian shall be troubled. Lord, whether in floods thou art wroth, either in floods is thy strong vengeance, either in the sea is thine indignation. Which shalt ascend on thine horses, and on thy 4-horsed carts is salvation. Thou raising shalt raise thy bow, oaths to lineages which thou hast spoken. Thou shalt part the floods of earth. Waters saw thee, and hills sorrowed, the gutter of waters passed. Deepness gave his voice, highness raised his hands. The sun, and moon, stood in their dwelling place. In the light of thine arrows they shall go, in the shining of thy spear glistening. In gnashing thou shalt defoul earth, and in strong vengeance thou shalt astonish folks. Thou art gone out into health of thy people, into health with thy Christ. Thou hast smitten the head of the house of the unpious man, thou hast made naked the foundament till to the neck. Thou cursedest the scepter, the power, of him, the head of his fighters, to men coming as whirlwind for to scatter me. The joying withoutfeth of them, as of him that devoureth a poor man in huddles. Thou maddest away in the sea to thine horses, in clay of many waters. I heard, and my womb is troubled together. My lips trembled together of the voice. Rot entered in my bones, and sprang under me. That I rest again in the day of tribulation, and I shall go up to our people girded together. For the fig tree shall not flower, and burgeoning shall not be in vineyards. The work of olive tree shall lie, and field shall not bring meat. A sheep shall be cut away from the fold, a drove shall not be in cratches. Forsooth I shall have joy in the Lord, and I shall make joy withoutfeth in God my Jesus. God the Lord is my strength, and he shall put my feet as of harts. And on mine high things, the overcomer shall lead forth me, singing in psalms.